All right, let's see what this is. Yo, grab a seat. Let's do it.
This is the CEO of the parent company of Trader Joe's and Aldi. He has just finished work and is heading home for the day. Parked next to him is a Mercedes 280, the same model his boss is driving. But it appears to be someone else's car. His boss left earlier anyways and should long be home by now. What he can't see is that his boss is tied up in the back seat just 3 meters away from him, gagged and held at gunpoint. He has been kidnapped, and this really is his car. This, right here, is the beginning of the biggest kidnapping in German history. The man in the backseat is Theo Albrecht, one of the two brothers who founded the global discount supermarket chain Aldi and one of the richest people in Europe. At this point in time, Aldi is already taking over Germany. Soon, it'll conquer the world.
Is Aldi like
Theo
Lidl?
Albrecht and his brother will forever change the way people
Is
do
it higher
grocery
quality?
shopping, how much they spend on it, and how supermarkets work in general. But right now, he's not thinking about business. He's thinking about staying alive.
Same shit. Because Lidl is a bunch of like off-brand, strange brands you've never heard of, right? But it's immensely cheap. At least that's how it is here in Sweden. Better and cheaper. We used to have a chain here in Sweden and like Denmark called Netto that did the same, but they, for some reason, didn't have a lot of success. I used to work there. My first job I had.
This is Theo, and this is his brother Karl. They're the Albrecht brothers. Their parents own a small grocery shop in the West German city of Essen. It's small and simple. The brothers grow up helping out where they can, but it's a tough time for selling groceries, or anything really. There was the hyperinflation in 1923, the Great Depression of 1929, Germany bombed to rubble in 1945, and the currency reform of 1948. Most Germans are broke and hungry. Theo is in his mid-20s when he and Karl take over the family shop. They know they have to be smart to make it through these difficult times. In this bare-bones store, the two will develop a set of principles that will revolutionize the concept of supermarkets as we know it. This is Hannah. She's in her early 20s and from another West German city called Düsseldorf. She comes from money, and right now she's head over heels in love with this guy. He's a bit older, as in almost 30 years older. A lawyer with a firm in downtown Düsseldorf. He too is rich. He drives flashy cars, takes luxury vacations, and somehow always wins at the roulette table. Well, almost always. The other day, his luck ran out. He had to borrow 300,000 Deutsche Marks from Hannah. But that's not going to bother her tonight. Tonight they'll enjoy themselves at a ball.
Meow.
Hannah will have this photo framed and put up in her bedroom. She has no idea it'll go global just a few months later. Interpol will use it for their manhunt to bring down the mastermind behind Germany's most high-profile kidnapping.
Totally Russell rated.
Hannah's big shot lawyer boyfriend is called Heinz Joachim Ohlenburg, and right now he's got a problem. He and his partner just kidnapped one of the richest men in the country, and they have absolutely no idea what to do next. To be fair, it's their first kidnapping. Also, Ohlenburg's day job is entirely different. He forged his high school diploma to get into law school. He's been divorced twice and keeps having affairs with young women. These days, he's representing pretty shady clients, loan sharks, small-time crooks, and professional criminals. Now he needs cash, lots of it, and fast. 700,000 Deutsche Marks. He owes not only Hannah a couple of grand, but also a few relatives and even 2 serious felons. One of them is this guy here, Diamond Paul. His real name is Paul Kron. He's a trained car mechanic by day and a safecracker by night. He breaks into banks and department stores and snatches their cash deposits. He got caught once and did a few years behind bars.
I remember for a time when I was a kid, I thought locksmith was like the coolest job you could have. I like aspired to be a locksmith for like a few weeks or something.
He swore he was done with that life when he got out, but he still has that one dream. A house on the Spanish Mediterranean coast. He even has a name for it, Casa Paulo. The land is already paid for. Now he just needs the money to build it. But his day job pays less than 2,000 Deutsche Marks a month. That is not going to cut it. The kidnapping was his idea. One last job, and they go off-grid forever. The morning after the kidnapping, they don't know where to stash their millionaire, so Paul spent the night with him in his garage, with Theo Albrecht tied up and blindfolded next to him in the passenger seat. Albrecht's wife already knows. They called her the night before the kidnapping. They promised her husband would come back unharmed, as long as she stayed quiet. No cops, no press. Now they just need to figure out what to do with him. First, they need to bring him somewhere safe, quietly, so that no one will recognize him. But how do you move a hostage without anyone noticing? They weigh their options. A wardrobe trunk? Too small. A broom closet? 6 weeks delivery time. Roll him up in a carpet? That could work. Allenberg heads out to get one, 2 by 3 meters. Kron stays in the car with Albrecht. They agree to meet at a quiet road where they can safely transfer Albrecht into a Volkswagen van.
Poor guy.
The plan is to make him sit on the rolled-out rug and wrap him up like a burrito. It all starts with this: butter. Post-war Germany is a country in ruins. Food is scarce. Butter is a luxury. So the Albrecht brothers do something unusual. They sell their butter at cost, without markups and profits, sometimes even at loss. But word spreads quickly. There's no cheaper
that's
butter in town
genius.
than at the Albrecht shop. Butter becomes their draw, or what's often called a loss leader. Other Albrecht
A
loss
lot of companies probably do this right now as well, right? I wonder what the most common products are today to do this with.
leaders are bread, margarine, milk, flour, potatoes, pasta, soap, and toilet paper. They're everyday essentials at unbeatable prices, and once
Costco
customers
does it
come
with
in for
chicken.
those, they are likely to also spend money on other products. The plan works out. Before long, the Albrechts open one grocery store after another. Within just a few years, they're running 30 supermarkets across the greater area. While scaling, Aldi keeps it old school. A lot of paper, a lot of folders, tightly managed departments. If only they could have run on Odoo,
Tastes
the
with
all-in-one
chicken.
management platform. Instead of isolated softwares, tons of individual applications, and lost
so this is the
files,
new
Odoo lets
sponsor
you
that's
manage
gonna be
all
everywhere.
aspects of business in a central hub. And if you're still hesitating, Odoo's website app is the perfect
We
launch
already
pad.
signed
You
up
can
to I
create
Did a
website in
Thing.
just 4 steps.
I'm sorry,
Use the drag
Fern.
and drop builder to create a custom site in minutes. Personal link in the description to get started.
Okay, well, $19.90 per month. Go to udo.com/r/6OS if you want to sign up.
Ollenberg and Kron are looking for a place to hide their kidnapped millionaire, in broad daylight in downtown Dusseldorf. The first idea is Ollenberg's lawyer's office, but it's located on a busy street right in the city center, just off the central station. Getting Albrecht out of the car and into
He
the building
stepped up
would
his
mean walking him
visuals.
across the sidewalk, blindfolded, so he doesn't see where he's taken and by whom. He could shout, people could notice and get suspicious. The second idea is Ollenberg's grown-up daughter. She lives only a few blocks away. They could hide him there and have her move into the lawyer's office for a while. But that's probably a tough sell. Her father has never visited her apartment, not even once, and now he would just show up with a kidnapped millionaire. So, back to the first idea. Unfortunately, Albrecht doesn't fit in the rug. What
Really
now?
can't be?
The hostage himself ends up pitching in. He promises to cooperate and not cause trouble. Ollenberg and Kron agree. They take off the blindfold, tape his eyes with skin patches, and give him a pair of shades. Then they walk him across the sidewalk to the building. But there's another problem. The office is packed with staff and clients who've already been waiting a while. So Ollenberg shuffles everyone into back rooms so that Kron can sneak Albrecht through the hallway and into Ollenberg's private room. He usually reserves it for secret dates with his younger girlfriends. The room is a cramped 4-square-meter alcove. They sit Albrecht down on the bed. Then Ollenberg goes into full gear to clear the office, rushing through client meetings and sending his staff home early. They don't mind.
Of course not.
Hannah is worried, as usual. Not because she thinks her boyfriend is a kidnapper, but because she knows he's a womanizer, constantly chasing younger women. But tonight he comes home from work on time. There's nothing special on the evening news, no mentions of a missing tycoon. Mrs. Albrecht seems to have gotten the
Aha.
message. No police and no press.
Das ist Rentner Hugo Bansemann. Wir fragten ihn in seiner Wohnung, warum kaufen Sie bei Albrecht?
Wissen Sie, wenn man Rentner ist, muss man mit dem Pfennig rechnen. Und ich kaufe bei Albrecht ein. Ich kaufe dort immer ein. Man bekommt mehr für sein Geld und ich kann mir hin und wieder eine Pulle extra leisten.
Kaufen Sie bei Albrecht. Zu Ihrem Vorteil.
Karl Albrecht steps onto a small stage. He's about to give a rare public speech. He talks to fellow grocers about how he and his brother grew their business from 1 to 30 stores within just a few years. It'll be the first and last time he publicly explains the Albrecht business model.
Looking back on our operations, I see that in the early days, we were forced to keep a small product range. The sales strategy includes only fast-moving consumer goods. The limited product range eliminates time-consuming consultations for our staff, and customers can decide much faster to either buy or not buy. For example, we don't carry loose jams, fresh fruits and vegetables because they slow down sales. We also skip canned fruits and vegetables and specialty items like mayonnaise, pickled herring, herring salad and so on because of turnover speed. We carry only one variety of each product. For legumes, we have just one type each, so only one kind of beans,
Take notes,
one kind
chads.
of lentils
You
and
can
one
become a
kind of
grocer one
rice.
day.
For shoe polish, we only carry Erdal. For toothpaste, only Blendux and only Sagella for floor wax and cans. So for brand products, we only ever carry the best-selling brands. We have
Hello,
followed this
African. What's
principle
up?
of small product ranges at low prices
You feel
since
proper and white today?
1950. The customer must believe they cannot buy cheaper anywhere else.
Meow.
Once that
Yippee.
belief is in place, and I think we achieved just that, customers will accept about anything.
Theo Albrecht spends most of his confinement sitting on the bed in his undershirt and briefs. He gets bread rolls for breakfast, steak with potatoes and beans for lunch, and coffee and pastries at tea time.
Nice.
The kidnappers offer him a warm meal for dinner, but he just wants sandwiches and mineral water. Every 2 days, he gets a hot bath and fresh underwear. He's allowed to shave with one of the kidnappers' razors. They took his suit and shirt to a dry cleaner, so it'll look decent on the day of his release. His captors dictate letters for him to write to his wife.
Dear Silly, you have heard from me by now. I want to assure you again that I'm doing fine and that I'm being treated fairly. Please don't worry, everything will be okay. I beg you not to call the police at any circumstance and to not involve the press. I'll explain the terms of my release later. Much love, your Theo.
4 days in, and the kidnappers still haven't addressed the ransom. Ullenberg keep dodging the topic, saying it makes him uncomfortable. And just like that, another day goes by in captivity. Albrecht will later testify in court that
Did he
during
get to
those
see their faces and everything?
days, he lived in constant fear for his life.
Yo!
Day 5, Saturday. Albrecht decides to take matters into his own hands. He proposes a ransom. By this time, Aldi is estimated to be generating 2 billion Deutsche Marks in yearly revenue. But the price tag he puts on his own life is considerably smaller, 100,000 Deutsche Marks. It's a ridiculous offer, a joke. Then again, it's very on brand. Theo Albrecht is famously stingy. Daily business at the Albrecht stores is governed by a set of strict principles. 1. No heating. Employees are expected to dress warmly. 2. Lights off unless absolutely necessary. Theo Albrecht personally ensures compliance during frequent surprise rounds. 3. Zero
Well,
waste.
you know,
Every
you
sheet
don't get rich by spending.
of paper is used front and back. Plastic sleeves get reused. Paper clips and
Or
envelopes are
senseless spending.
meticulously saved. 4. No frills. No decoration, no pretty product displays, no fancy signage.
You
Just
has a
fluorescent
criminal
lighting
record, I
and
knew
cardboard
it.
boxes stacked on plain shelves. 5. Speed, or what some may call German. No chit-chat, no customer consultation, no service counters. Just rapid checkouts. Time is money. Even the bathrooms are optimized. Theo Albrecht has all electronic hand dryers replaced because they take 4 seconds too long to shut off. Refrigeration is too expensive as well. The butter that fueled Aldi's meteoric rise is sold at room temperature. At night, it's stored in a cool basement. All of this serves one goal and one goal only. Rock bottom prices.
Damn.
Affordable for anyone.
Warum kann man bei Albrecht so preisgünstig
Well, I mean,
einkaufen?
if it offers cheaper prices for the customers, why not? It's
Fucking loser.
if they keep high margins and do this, that it's sort of scummy. Pepepke. To celebrate 4 years, do this espresso. I don't know what that emote is. But thank you for the 4 years, Pepepke.
Weil die Ladeneinrichtung nur ein Bruchteil des Üblichen
Oh, I
kostet.
see.
Kein überflüssiger Luxus, aber zweckmäßig und sauber. Für moderne Menschen. Albrecht-Preise sind nicht durch hohe Einrichtungskosten belastet. Überzeugen Sie sich.
Commodores
Kaufen
workers?
Sie im Aldi.
A lot of these things had nothing to do with the workers. What difference does it make for the workers what temperature the butter is stored?
Markt.
The Albrecht grocery business eventually turns into Aldi, the discount giant that's also behind Trader Joe's. And Aldi becomes a force of nature, a retail machine that leverages its market power to squeeze suppliers and farmers for ever lower prices. The Albrecht brothers earn a reputation as brutally efficient negotiators. But right now, Theo Albrecht is not the one negotiating from a position of power. The guys across the table have a gun, and they're threatening to kill him. They flat out reject his initial
We have like mob grocers in Sweden, like the grocery stores. We only have like 3 chains, and any up and coming chain gets destroyed because the stores are in cahoots with the suppliers of the products. So they just fuck over anyone who wants to like run their own, and then they just get bought up if they try to. It's like that everywhere. Yeah, it seems to be a very big problem like everywhere. How's that legal? That's the thing. Like the government is trying now to find a solution for this.
offer. Ullenberg knows exactly how rich Albrecht is. He read about it in a book. That's how they picked him up in the first place. Ullenberg tells Albrecht they need to consult with their partners. First, Kron heads into the next room
They're
for a
talking
call.
about
Then
trying to
Ullenberg.
find a
The
solution.
calls are fake. There's no one on the other end. They're bluffing to push the ransom. Ullenberg tells Albrecht he and his partners have agreed on a number. He says there are 7 people involved and that $1 million each would be fair. That makes $7 million. At this point, is the largest sum ever demanded in a kidnapping in Europe. Ullenberg tells Albrecht not to worry. He can probably tax deduct the money as a business expense. Albrecht agrees. It's not like he really has a choice.
File it to the accountant on
By
a
now,
kidnapping.
the kidnappers have worked out a plan for the ransom drop. On Tuesday at exactly 4 p.m., they'll call the Albrecht residence. Waiting on the other end will be the 4 people involved in the handover: Albrecht's wife, Silly, the family lawyer, the company's managing director, and one of his sons. They'll be given a first location, Meisenburg Street in Essen. There will be 2 stones with a note hidden underneath. The note will lead them to another location, where they'll find another note with another direction. The same thing will happen 2 more times. The final note will read,
Continue along the B288 toward Essen. Pull over at the parking lot near the Ruhrtal Bridge and use the deposited radio transmitter. Press the right button to say, Theo, come in please. Then follow the instructions you'll receive over the radio.
Kron will guide them via walkie-talkie to a path in the woods. There they're supposed to drop the money and leave. When the coast is clear, Kron will grab the ransom, and Albrecht will be released at Frankfurt Airport. They'll tell him they're leaving the country. Albrecht is told to board a plane back to Düsseldorf. Once he lands, he's a free man, and the kidnappers will have supposedly fled somewhere far away. It's a solid plan. Even Albrecht feels a bit relieved.
It's good.
Essen Police Headquarters. These are the 4 people awaiting the instructions for the ransom drop. At least they're supposed to look the part. They're actually 4 undercover detectives. They've been disguised by theater makeup artists. One of them is dressed as Mrs. Albrecht and wearing a wig. Underneath the costumes, they're hiding bulletproof vests and guns. They're standing by and waiting for the signal. Kron makes the call to the Albrecht residence. He says hello and is about to give the first set of instructions, and immediately gets cut off. Mrs. Albrecht was the one supposed to answer the call, but it's the family's lawyer on the line.
Please listen carefully. I have a brief but important statement to make. The conditions you have set are unacceptable. Money is the only viable exchange for the hostage. Since you demanded an unusually high amount of ransom money, we had to notify the state central bank. They in turn informed the police, and the press is also aware of the situation.
Oops.
We must act quickly now. Name a drop location and a reasonable amount. You will have our word. You will receive the money and be given enough time by the police to disappear.
Police and the press. That's the worst case scenario. Kron rejects and hangs up. The Albrecht family and the investigators are startled too. They've spooked the kidnappers and lost their trust. Theo Albrecht's life is still very much on the line. What now? This is Franz
Why ever
Hensbach.
just shoot
He's
him,
the bishop
though?
of Essen. And this is the city's chief of police. He desperately needs someone neutral that everyone can trust. The police, the family, and most importantly, the kidnappers. Someone who can be handed 7 million Deutschmarks and promise the kidnappers not to set them up. The plan is to use the Christian seal of confession. According to German criminal law, clergy are not obligated to report crimes they learn about during spiritual counsel. This will hopefully give the kidnappers a bit more assurance. Maybe they really can walk away clean. Which is why Bishop Hensbach shall handle the money handoff and save Theo Albrecht's life. Hensbach is a man of faith. Of course he agrees. The kidnappers also agree to the plan. Technically, everything is set for a clean and smooth handover. Technically. The press has known about the case for a while now, and agreed to keep quiet upon police request. But when they find out about the bishop becoming the middleman, they can't resist any longer. It's just too good of a story. The Essen police and prosecutors are forced to call a press conference.
Oops.
The room is packed.
Unser Verhältnis zur Familie ist, möchte ich sagen, aufgrund der merkwürdigen, teilweise sensationell aufgemachten Presseveröffentlichung etwas gestört. Die Familie ist naturgemäß sehr bedrückt.
Holy voice.
Now it's not just the police anymore. The entire world knows what's happening. The bishop has been compromised. The kidnappers call off the meeting. It's too risky.
Damn.
The Albrecht family is desperate. They've lost all contact with the kidnappers. Will they harm Theo? Their last hope for communication is to include a message in a popular show on German national TV. Hannah is doing okay, but she's worried about her boyfriend. He hasn't been sleeping well and says work has been stressful lately. At least they can unwind in front of the TV.
Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Vor 11 Tagen, am 29. November, haben bisher unbekannte Täter in der Nähe von Essen den Großkaufmann Theo Albrecht entführt. Sie verlangen ein Lösegeld von 7 Millionen Mark und einen Vorsprung von 24 Stunden. Da die Verbindung mit den Tätern in den letzten Stunden zusehends schlechter geworden ist, hat uns die Familie Albrecht gebeten, den Tätern, die diese Sendung heute Abend sicher sehen werden, folgende Nachricht zu übermitteln. Bitte bleiben Sie weiterhin mit dem Vermittler in Verbindung. Dieser wird niemanden über die Übergabe...
Would you ever assume they would stay true to any Head Start stuff? Once you've given the hostage back, all bets are off. You think cops are just gonna sit around with their dick in their hand?
...und Zeit unterrichten.
Like, what are they gonna do?
Nach
They gave
Rückgabe
up
des Entführten soll
the
Theo
hostage.
Albrecht 24 Stunden bei dem Vermittler verbleiben. Dadurch sind Verfolgungsmaßnahmen für diese 24 Stunden ausgeschlossen. Bitte handeln Sie bald.
Business in Germany keeps booming, and Karl Albrecht sets his sights on expansion.
You know,
In
it's an asshole move.
his branch of the
kidnapping
business called
people.
Aldi Süd takes its first steps abroad, buying up Austrian supermarket chain Hofer with 30 shops. His brother Theo follows suit 6 years later, opening the first Aldi Nord store in the Dutch city of Rotterdam. Soon they expand to Belgium and France, conquering Europe one country at a time.
I've seen this somewhere.
But right now, Karl Albrecht has to take a very different kind of call. He's on the phone with one of the men who has kidnapped his brother, and the guy is furious. The ransom drop-off has to happen, now, clean and fast. They settle on a new time and place. The kidnappers agree to let Bishop Hengsbach deliver the money after all. Albrecht is to stay with him for 24 hours after the exchange. No police.
What up, Joseph?
Any interference could be fatal. Karl Albrecht agrees. Back at the office, Kron returns with the good news.
They need to get the money without giving the hostage, stash the hostage, and then give the location after 24 hours. Yeah, that'd be fair. Then I guess the next question is, why only 24 hours then? Just give him 48 hours or a fucking week. I mean, I guess he would starve to death or some shit. Give him a lot of food.
The deal is back on. But Ollenburg has other concerns. He knows the police are recording their calls. He's been obsessing over security and telling his accomplice countless times to take precautions. So just to be sure, he asks Kron if he really changed his voice. Kron shrugs, awkwardly. Yeah, kind of. Day 17 of the abduction. Tonight's the night. The handover is finally supposed to happen. Theo Albrecht in exchange for 7 million Deutsche Marks. A lonely dirt road just off the highway. There's an overpass and 2 exit roads close by. Perfect escape conditions. The kidnappers arrive. Albrecht is wearing skin patches over his eyelids, sunglasses, and an old hat from Ollenburg. They had a glass of sparkling wine to mark the occasion. Ollenburg even gave Albrecht 2 parting gifts. The three step out and wait for over an hour.
What parting gifts?
Is this a setup after all? Finally, a Volkswagen rolls up with Essen plates. The 2 men step out in clerical coats. One of them is unmistakably Bishop Hengsbach. The family fears a double
there's a
cross.
cop.
What if this is not the real Theo? What if the kidnappers pass off a decoy and run off with the money? So the bishop has to test him, with 3 questions dictated by Theo's wife. What kind of wood is Albrecht's new bedroom wardrobe made of? Albrecht hesitates. That damn wardrobe. What was the name of that wood again? He gives his answer, but the bishop shakes his head.
Tough fucking question.
Wrong.
What?
The second question is about an acquaintance they made during vacation. He gets that one right, and the third one too. All right, close enough. This has to be the real Theo Albrecht. The bishop and his driver get the money from the car, 7 million Deutsche Marks in cash, wrapped like Christmas presents. Ollenburg and Kron wish them Merry Christmas, hand over the Aldi founder, and
don't
vanish.
drink a little.
No one follows them. They did it. They're now multi-millionaires,
Surely.
and Germany's most wanted criminals.
In welcher Verfassung sind Sie vorgestern entlassen worden?
Also ich bin gesund. Ich bin natürlich sehr, sehr müde. Es hat mich ziemlich strapaziert.
Hatten Sie während der Zeit der Gefangenschaft daran geglaubt, dass dieser Fall gut ausgeht?
Also ich habe die Hoffnung nicht untergehen lassen.
Haben Sie mit den Entführern Gespräche führen können über menschliche Dinge oder nur über die
This is
Tat?
why I decided to never become a multi-millionaire, famous, successful businessman, because I don't want to get kidnapped.
Ich habe praktisch kaum mit den Entführern gesprochen.
Theo Albrecht is a free man. 17 days after his abduction, he's finally back. He just keeps doing what he does best,
Aha.
expand his empire. In 1979, he sets his sights on the US market
That's
and buys
have
Trader
been
Joe's.
kidnapped.
Then he enforces the same principles that made Aldi so successful: a limited product range, strong private labels, and aggressive pricing. The formula works. Trader Joe's grows from
Fuck,
a
that's a
quirky
good
California
point,
chain
Volkan. It's
into a
crypto,
nationwide cold
too.
supermarket with hundreds of locations and billions in revenue. His brother had already opened the first US Aldi store 3 years earlier. Theo operates under the banner of his branch, Aldi Nord, and Karl under Aldi Süd. They're technically competitors,
Oh,
but
I
with
heard you guys talk about this. North versus South? What's the better one then?
different customer bases. Today, Aldi is the fastest growing grocery retailer in the US, and the main reason people shop there is the same as ever:
Most people say
unbeatable prices.
South?
Aldi doesn't play pricing games on USDA choice beef. They have low prices every day.
Hannah is waiting for her boyfriend. She's packed a suitcase. He said he was going on vacation, without her. And now he's late.
Aw.
Maybe he's seeing someone else. When he finally gets home, his shoes are soaking and his pants are covered in mud. How would you get your pants that dirty at a downtown office? But Ollenburg can't exactly tell her that he just pulled off a spectacular kidnapping, and that his pants are dirty because he just buried 1.5 million Deutsche Marks in the woods. So he just says nothing. His thoughts are already elsewhere anyway. with his other girlfriend, his one true love, the woman he plans to run away with, all the way to the other side of the world, where they'll use that money to start a new life. But Hannah will soon find out what those dirty pants were really about.
Why don't they do that immediately?
Paul Kron is at his sister's house. Her husband is there too. They're having coffee and cake, and the TV is on, with sound.
Da handelt es sich zunächst einmal, meine Damen und Herren, ein Gespräch zwischen einem Familienmitglied und einem der Entführer.
Oh shit.
Bitte hören Sie einmal zu.
Oh shit.
So it's true. The police really did record the phone call between Kron and Karl Albrecht. Now the city's district attorney is playing it to the German press.
They didn't even master voices?
He's hoping to get help from the public, that someone out there will recognize the kidnapper's voice.
Wir können das Geld ja nur hier irgendwo im Kohlenpott in Empfang nehmen.
Ja, nein, hören Sie zu.
Und dann,
Herr Dr. Meyer. Herr Dr. Meyer.
Ja.
Merken Sie denn nicht, dass wir den Bruder haben wollen und bereit sind, das Geld zu geben?
Wissen Sie, Ihr Bruder verliert langsam die Nerven.
Ich verstehe das.
Er möchte gerne nach Hause.
Ich verstehe das.
Er kann nichts anderes tun als schreiben.
Kron's sister instantly recognizes her brother's voice. No doubt about it. He's the Aldi kidnapper the entire country is looking for. That's a tough thing to explain over coffee and cake. Kron doesn't even try. He just gets up and leaves. Hannah recognizes the voice too. Ollenburg has invited Kron over for dinner many times. She knows exactly who that is.
Fucking
A small
morons.
electronics store in Dusseldorf. The shopkeeper turns on the TV, just to catch a segment of a show called Here and Today. They're also playing the recording of the Aldi's kidnapper's voice, and it sounds very familiar. Just the day before, a man with that exact voice had come in to pay off his installment plan. He even bought a stereo system for 3,400 Deutsche Marks on top. The shopkeeper calls the police. Before the handoff, investigators had written down the serial numbers of all 500 Deutsche Mark bills in the ransom bundle. 3 of those bills were used in the electronics store. It's a match. Paul Kron is arrested 2 days later, but the second kidnapper is still
Yeah,
a
they
mystery.
should have bounced instantly. They should have mastered voices too. Dude, these guys are bad. I should have given them some advice.
And still at large. Peter Spohr is a young police trainee working toward his detective badge. Right now, he's doing an internship with the Essen Criminal Police. This is his mentor, Chief Inspector Friedhelm
Hard to
Meiser.
get the cash out, I guess.
They're sitting in a lawyer's office on the 4th floor of the Graf Adolf Street.
Split the cash up into a lot of small packages. Send it. Shipping.
45.
Maybe.
It's run by the lawyer representing Paul Kron. It's not exactly a hot lead for the 2 policemen. The more exciting assignments had already been snatched up by others. There's a pub downstairs on the ground floor of the building. Good cops think strategically. So first a beer, and then a plan. Theo Albrecht never knew where exactly he had been held, but he told the police every detail he could remember. An elevator in the stairwell, a narrow bathroom with a double sink and a broken extractor fan, the sound of streetcars passing by, and a bell chiming at regular intervals. The policemen see a streetcar passing by outside the lawyer's office. Then they hear the church bell of a nearby convent, just like in Albrecht's description. They peek into the building's stairwell. Bingo, an elevator. So they check out the construction plan from the city's building department. The bathroom is long and narrow. They get a warrant to search the office. Everything inside exactly matches Albrecht's memories. Meanwhile, Kron starts to crack.
Paul Kron hat gesungen. Bezichtigt Heinz-Joachim Ollenburg als Haupttäter der Entführung, der ihm die 10.000 Mark abgespeist hat. Doch der Vogel ist ausgeflogen.
This is Blondie, a 19-year-old legal assistant. She's waiting for her boyfriend at Wuppertal Central Station. She hasn't seen him in weeks, but he promised her something big, a luxury vacation in Mexico to celebrate that she successfully passed her training, 2 full weeks. Heinz-Joachim Ollenburg is on the run. He knows the cops have already picked up Kron. It's only a matter of time before they find out that he's the second Aldi kidnapper. Ollenburg and Blondie have known each other for over a year. When she spent a few months working from the US, he started killing time with Hannah, but his heart always belonged to Blondie. They're madly in love with each other. Now they're on their way to Frankfurt Airport. Back in Essen, Hannah has no idea. She's alone at home when suddenly the police is at her door. They're looking for Ollenburg. They seize this photo. It will become the official manhunt photo. Once they realize Ollenburg has left the country, the case goes global. The picture is sent to Interpol and investigators in over 100 countries. Ollenburg is now one of the most wanted men on the planet. And Hannah finally learns the truth, that her charming lover owes her over 300,000 marks, that he kidnapped the founder of Aldi, locked him up in his office, and then came home to her every night as if nothing happened. All while secretly planning his escape, with a girl from Wuppertal he's been sleeping with all this time.
Wow.
Shortly after, Hannah walks into a police station and hands them her boyfriend's dirty pants. Maybe there's something on them that will help them bring him down.
The mud.
A luxury hotel in Mexico City. Ollenburg and Blondie have spent a quiet first night together. Now he's supposed to plan their next days. But deep down, he's thinking about something else. He could tell Blondie everything, the whole story. They could run, first to Cuba, a country that surely doesn't extradite to Germany, and then disappear to some remote Pacific island. But would Blondie really leave everything behind for him? Her whole life, her family. It's 12 a.m. now, and Blondie is waiting for her boyfriend in the hotel lobby.
Oh, he bounces.
She's coming off a travel group meeting. He said he'd freshen up for lunch and meet her downstairs, but he doesn't show up. Turns out her boyfriend has just been arrested by agents of the Mexican Federal Police. Paul Cron has thrown him under the bus. Blondie is stunned, unable to process what's happening. But all signs point to a shocking truth. Her boyfriend is the mastermind behind the spectacular kidnapping of Theo Albrecht, the crime that's been dominating headlines in Germany for weeks.
Well.
So much for her vacation. They're on the flight back to Europe when she confesses her love. She'll wait for him even if he ends up going to jail.
Erst am 1. Januar 1972 kehrt aus Mexiko abgeschoben, mehr oder weniger freiwillig zurück, mit seiner Begleiterin aus Wuppertal. Ollenburg hat heute Mittag ein Geständnis abgelegt. Was fehlt, sind die 7 Millionen Mark Lösegeld.
Heinz Joachim Ollenburg is sentenced to 8.5 years in prison.
Not that bad. Worth the 7 mil.
Aldi stands for a promise. We'll do everything we can to make sure you pay as little as possible. For millions of people living from paycheck to paycheck around the globe, that promise is a lifeline. At Aldi, they're able to afford things they otherwise couldn't. But that promise comes at a cost. Workers operate under enormous pressure because in Aldi stores, every second counts. According to one report, cashiers are expected to scan 55 items per minute.
What?
Customers can barely keep up with bagging. Low prices means high pressure, not just for staff, but also for manufacturers, suppliers, and farmers. If you want to work with Aldi, you have to deliver. Aldi and other discounters wield staggering market power. They can just raise food prices without passing profits down the supply chain to producers and farmers. Farming businesses in particular have long been criticizing unfair business practices. Many say they're at the mercy of the retailer's whims. Theo Albrecht's brilliant and often brutal methods made him one of the richest people on earth. He ranked 31st on the corresponding Forbes list by the time he died. The kidnapping left a mark, though. Albrecht pretty much disappeared from the public after that. He really did try to write off the ransom as a business expense. The tax office in Dusseldorf declined. Half of the ransom money has never been recovered. Kron claimed he only ever got 10,000 marks. Ollenburg also played dumb, but some believe he lived off the rest of the ransom after
Maybe
having
it's still
served
buried
his
in
time.
Germany somewhere.
Whether Blondie really waited for him all those years, we may never know.
Wait, so they actually, damn, okay. So in a way, he sort of got away with it. I mean, okay, he has to sit in jail for 8 years, but how much money was that? It was 7 million Deutsche Marks in 1971. I don't know how much that is adjusted for inflation in dollars today. Sounds like a decent amount, though.
There's a best of internet daily notes. There's the new unusual memes. This thing looks insane.